Hey, it's Brian Kay from the Unconventional Advisor and co-founder of the Advisor Accelerator. And today I want to talk about how to get clients regardless of COVID, regardless of future shutdowns, and regardless of where the economy is at or if the stock market is up or down. And let me start by saying, like, my heart goes out to all the small business owners, the advisors, and the employees that have experienced, basically either the destruction of their businesses, the interruption of their businesses, or the loss of their jobs, their employment, or their incomes. It's absolutely brutal. And my heart goes out to every single one of you and them if you've been affected. But what I want to talk about is how do we take this very, very painful lesson and use it to make ourselves anti-fragile? And the way I define anti-fragile is basically regardless of what happens in the external environment and what stresses occur, what black swan events occur, that we have structured our business situation in such a way that we're anti-fragile. We can do okay in an up market, in a down market, in an up economy, in a down economy. If there's a pandemic, it doesn't really matter, right? And this is a situation that allows you to have a good night's sleep, to find yourself peace amidst chaos, to not really worry, to be able to remain calm in the midst of a storm. So, how do we do that? The first thing that we have to do is we have to basically offer something that's needed in any time, no matter what's going on, right? So there's wants and there's needs. And, needs tend to be really, really helpful when you have a situation like COVID or economic interruptions, and people are basically sticking to, like, what are my necessities here, right? So that's always that tends to be anti-fragile regardless of what's going on. And then the other one is, what market am I serving, where no matter what happens in the outside world, they're still going to have to do what, or they're still going to have to fix the problem that they have. And then another probably pretty important one is, will these people be able to afford my services, so that I'm serving the part of the market that has the capacity to pay for my service and get a tremendous return on investment, even if the market's down, even if the economy's doing poorly, et cetera, et cetera. And let's start with the mindset. The mindset behind this is that, if you go with conventional wisdom and you try the Me Too approaches or what everyone else tells you that you're supposed to do, you're pretty much always guaranteed to get mediocre results, right? That's the pathway to being average, right? And even in a situation where, like, if we talk about athletics, I have three kids. If you talk about, like, even like junior high school sports, the likelihood of someone, operating at the highest levels of their varsity sports in high school, and then what percentage of those will go on and play college sports, and then what percentage of those will go on and play professional sports, it's infinitesimally small, right? The cards are stacked against you. That's a really, really rough way to compete. Yes, lots of kids do it, and I think there's a lot to be learned in that process. But the same idea applies in business, right? If you try to do the same thing and compete in the same game and arena that everybody else is competing in, you eventually blend in with everybody else. And even if you are excellent as a money manager, as an insurance provider, for annuities, as a planner, as a retirement plan, it doesn't really matter. It begins to sound the same, right? And even if you're the top 10% or 1%, there's enough other 1%ers or 10%ers that are saying the same thing. So again, my big idea here today is when everybody else is zigging, you want to zag, right? If everybody else is doing this, it's probably not a bad approach often to go in this direction, right? To take the road less traveled. That's the pathway I've always tried to follow my entire life, and it's always paid off because there's safety in numbers, but there's also mediocrity in numbers. And if I have a choice, we've talked about this in past editions, of being the first, the best, or different, I'm going to choose different every time to begin with, right? Then I'm going to do my very best to be the best. I have very little control over being the first, right? I may get lucky. I may be that, get that 1 in a million situation where I'm the first person to the market. But realistically, it's a whole lot easier to carve out a niche, a differentiation, than it is to be the first or considered the best, which is subjective in many cases. So the big idea today is, how do you remain, anti-fragile and get in front of clients no matter what's going on in the outside world, no matter how many businesses are struggling, no matter how many people are losing their jobs. And the concept is that you have to start with finding, number one, a starving market that has an urgent need to have a problem solved right now. Number two, they have to have the capacity to purchase your services, and you have to have a solution for them that solves a big problem and that is worth a multiple of whatever you're asking for from these people, right? And then you'll have people basically lining up out your door. So it's, again, the number one thing that if we apply this to financial services, most people focus on, I need more leads, I need more appointments, right? I need to do more workshops, I need to ask for referrals, I need to go to networking events. And gosh, I can go on to 20 other things. I need to play more golf. I need to join a country club. All those things are fine, but they're tactics, right? And what they're missing is that everybody else is doing the same things. And you're ending up, as a result of this, doing a lot of activity for, a low number of appointments at a very high cost. You end up having a relatively unqualified lead or appointment, and then you don't end up making a sale because they don't know, like, and trust you well yet. So it could take 2, 3, 4. Many people won't show. You'll get ghosted, et cetera, et cetera. All of this is caused by not being clear on who is my starving market, what is their biggest problem, can I solve that problem, and give them a payoff that's a multiple of whatever I'm charging them. So that's the big concept of today, is to try to become an unconventional advisor in order to make yourself anti-fragile. Phase 2 of that is, if you're lucky enough to be in a business where you build up either renewals or assets under management with fees, obviously the best hedge against a down market, a down economy, is recurring revenue, right? That allows you to basically retract, take a moment to pause when things have become crazy in the outside world, but revenue is still going to be coming in. And that obviously takes time, but it is important to think about those things when you're building your model. So I'm going to leave it there today. Again, I'm Brian Kay. I'm the Unconventional Advisor, co-founder of the Advisor Accelerator. If any of this resonates for you, you can get a full 60-minute masterclass by going to www.starvingmarketspecialist.com. Again, www.starvingmarketspecialist.com. If you give your name and your email address and the information on there, there's a 60-minute masterclass on exactly how to do this. How do you get in front of a starving crowd? How do you generate a steady flow of 5 to 15 daytime virtual appointments per week? How do you sign up 2 to 4 of them, worth $3,000 to $10,000 each, and a lifetime value of $20,000 to $200,000? And how do you basically retain them for life so that you're getting them before they're in the retirement realm, so you have another 20 to 30 years to plan with them, work with them, etc. If that's of interest, go to www.starvingmarketspecialist.com. Otherwise, if you can give me a like, give me any comments, let me know what other subjects you'd like me to cover in future episodes. And otherwise, if you think this is valuable and you know someone who would benefit from it, please be kind and share this video. I look forward to talking to you on the next episode. And again, this is Brian Kay from the Unconventional Advisor.